On that fateful Tuesday morning, I can still feel the anxiety swirling in my stomach as I prepared for my first visit to the gynecologist. At just 24, the thought of that appointment was already enough to make my stomach churn. And then to top it all off, I managed to spill coffee all over my intake forms. But then, she entered the room, Dr. Vivian Costa, her compassionate smile lighting up the space, while her intelligent eyes appeared to perceive everything around her. Her hand brushed against my shoulder, and in that moment, a surge of electricity coursed through me, igniting a long-dormant spark within. For years, I buried myself beneath the calm of my bookstore life, where the whispers of caution echoed around me. Everyone insisted that doctors should keep their relationships strictly professional, yet the way her fingers brushed against mine as she passed me, her card was anything but impersonal. Especially when she showed up at a week later, she returned to the bookstore claiming she was just rousing. In that moment, I sensed that my life was on the brink of a monumental shift. Especially with Danny, my coworker by my side, argued that destiny had woven our paths together. Yet my doubts shouted that it was beyond reach. How could someone so remarkable, so stunning, ever be captivated by a soul who finds solace among towering book stacks and wraps herself in the warmth of secondhand sweaters? Yet our worlds seem to drift further apart, in a world where the chair of Gallus presides over medical conferences. My evenings are filled with the warmth of poetry nights and the challenges of an independent bookstore. Yet somehow, when the two collide, our lips finally met beneath the shelter of that shared umbrella, and in that moment, nothing had ever felt more right. Yet loving her meant confronting my heart raced with the haunting thought that I might never measure up to someone like her. The moment her graceful mother scrutinized me, I felt a wave of doubt wash over me. With a hint of unspoken judgment hanging in the air, I realized that the time had come for me to confront the most challenging choice I would ever face. As we prepared to dive into the video, I felt the weight of the moment settle in. Buckle up, prepare yourself, and stay tuned for an exciting surprise coming your way tomorrow. I find myself gazing at the pristine office door. My fingers twisted the straps of my canvas bag, pulling them tight enough to leave marks on my skin. In a quaint little town, there lived a remarkable figure known as Dr. Vivian Costa, an OBG specialist. Her presence was as striking as the tiny brass trinkets that adorned her office, each telling a story of its own. The nameplate shines brightly beneath the harsh fluorescent lights, exuding an aura as foreboding as a cautionary signal. At 24 years old, I find myself reflecting on the fact that I've never ventured to The mere idea of visiting the specialist sends a rush of heat to my cheeks, even though the hallway is empty, leaving me alone with my thoughts. With a sense of shame, I took a deep breath and stepped into the waiting room. To my surprise, it was warmer than I had anticipated, filled with a gentle softness that enveloped me. With blue walls and framed abstract paintings that evoke the essence of ocean waves, I find myself drawn closer as the receptionist greets me with a warm smile. With a smooth motion, she glides a clipboard of paperwork across the table, her demeanor effortlessly polished. It's our first encounter, and she inquires with a warm, inviting tone. I nod, my voice caught in my throat. Dr. Costa will take good care of you, she will. Promises me she's the finest we possess, which should bring solace. Instead, it stirs The weight of anxiety surged within her, a relentless tide that threatened to overwhelm. She couldn't shake the feeling that the best doctor in town had far more pressing matters to attend to than her own overdue concerns, leaving her feeling small and embarrassed in the vastness of it all. As I settled into the corner clipboard balanced precariously on my knees, I took a deep breath. The first exam loomed before me, a sea of endless questions waiting to be navigated. I steeled my focus, determined to conquer the challenge ahead. In the waiting room, a sense of anticipation hangs in the air, with half the seats occupied. A pregnant woman sits nearby, her hand gently caressing her rounded belly, lost in thought as time drifts by. As she scrolled through her phone, an older woman sat nearby, flipping through the glossy pages of a magazine. Meanwhile, a young professional was typing furiously on their laptop, the sound of keys clicking filling the air. Her laptop sits quietly, yet none of them appear as frightened as I am. My hand shakes uncontrollably. As I extend my hand towards the cup of complimentary coffee, a moment of anticipation fills the air. Just as I bring it closer to my lips, The office door swings open, interrupting the stillness. The door bursts wide, and Wren Ashford stands there, eyes wide. I flinch, my hand jolting, and coffee spills over the edge, splattering everywhere. The brown liquid drips onto my paperwork, instantly soaking into the forms, and smudging my meticulous handwriting splashes onto my cream-colored sweater, leaving a stain that spreads like a vivid mark across my chest. I'm so sorry, In a flurry of panic, hands darted towards the napkin dispenser perched on the side table, but alas, the attempt was clumsy, sending the dispenser tumbling over. Napkins erupted like a flurry of white confetti, scattering everywhere in a chaotic dance. Descending to the ground like flat, delicate snowflakes, a gentle voice offered assistance, saying, "Let me help you with that." Warm and rich like honey, the air feels entirely too close. I glance up and suddenly I find myself face to a woman in a white coat crouches beside my chair, her eyes shimmering with an extraordinary shade of amber that captivates me. Brown speckled with gold, now brimming with worry, instead of the irritation I ought to feel. I never intended to. She startles you, saying, gathering napkins and pressing them gently into my hands, "I'm Dr. Costa." And based on that reaction, as she smiles, I sense a hint of nervousness in the air. Her dark hair cascades around her, and in that moment, something within me stirs. A neat twist draws back the hair, unveiling a graceful neck adorned with delicate pearl earrings. There exists a quiet confidence in her stance, yet her expression carries no hint of intimidation. Rather, it holds a gentle warmth. The gentle crinkle around her eyes hints at a certain fondness for my coffee mishap, as if she finds it charming in its own way. With a hint of embarrassment, I find myself dabbing at my sweater, a subtle gesture that speaks volumes. But you already sensed it. She stands there unwavering. As she extends her hand towards me, I grasp it firmly, feeling the strength and warmth in her touch. Her skin radiates a sense of comfort and confidence. It was gentler than I had anticipated. My gaze fell upon a faint line on her ring finger, a subtle reminder of a wedding band that once graced it. I wondered why it was no longer there. "We bring you a fresh form and a new coffee, perhaps, with a lid this time." Her voice dances with a playful tease that adds a spark to the moment. In a way that feels almost magical, I find myself not feeling judged as Dr. Costa gently leads me to her office, effortlessly navigating past the usual barriers. In her usual routine, she hands me a fresh clipboard and slips away for a moment. When she returns, she brings with her a steaming cup of coffee that she gently sets the items on her desk, ensuring they are placed far from any crucial documents. Patience is key in this moment. She assures me that we'll begin whenever I'm prepared. The session unfolds in a haze of soft guidance and expertise. With a gentle demeanor, Dr. Costa takes the time to explain each step before proceeding, her soothing voice a balm for my racing thoughts. Once it's all done, I find a sense of relief washing over me. She sits across from me at her desk, her expression thoughtful. "You should be proud of yourself, Wren," she says. "The initial encounter often feels like a daunting challenge, yet you navigated it with such grace, even amidst the coffee mishap." I found myself smiling at the memory. Even though the memory of the coffee mishap still hung in the air, she couldn't help but let out a soft chuckle. Many individuals remain in quiet anguish, yet your journey stands out vividly as she pens down In a moment of quiet observation, I caught sight of her left hand once more. There it was, a distinct tan line, marking the spot where a ring had once graced her finger, now recently removed. "By the look of it, everything is ready," she says, handing me the slip of paper, our fingers brushing against each other. As I run the brush through my hair, a peculiar little jolt courses through me, and I dismiss it as mere static electricity. "Do you have any questions before you take your leave?" Countless thoughts swirl in my mind, yet words elude me. I find myself shaking my head, pondering if you truly understand. "Consider this, my card is here for you. The office number is on the front, but I've jotted down my email on the back. Sometimes it's just simpler that way." In a moment of curiosity, I found myself reaching for the card, taken aback by the personal touch it held. A heartfelt thank you to Dr. Costa Vivian for this unexpected gesture. At times when the formalities of doctor and patient fade away, there's a certain charm in the unexpected. The casual invitation to explore this new dynamic feels like a delightful twist in our story. The name leaves me momentarily speechless. I simply nod and clutch the card as if it's a precious treasure. As dawn broke the next day at Foxed Pages, I found myself reshelving a cart filled with returned books. Suddenly, Danny emerged leaning in a way that was nothing short of theatrical. Confronting the poetry section, she inquires about the much-feared visit to the doctor, voice lowering to a hush even in the stillness of the vacant shop. Was it truly as terrifying as you envisioned? I gently placed the bell jar into its. In that moment, as I took my rightful place, I felt a sense of calm wash over me. The doctor greeted me with kindness, and everything seemed just fine. That was all I needed to know. After weeks of listening to your struggles with medical anxiety, I finally urged Ren to share her story. My name is Dr. Costa Vivian. As I utter it, it feels both foreign and strangely intimate, resonating within me in a unique way. My tongue, she was kind and professional. I spilled coffee everywhere, and she didn't flinch, make me feel foolish. Danny's eyebrows raised as if we were on a first-name basis. She was intriguing, a blend of wisdom and age, yet not quite the grandmotherly figure one might expect. I found myself pausing, uncertain of how to define her presence. Describing Vivian requires a delicate touch, as if one were weaving a narrative that captures her essence without revealing too much. Picture her in her mid-30s, exuding an air of sophistication and grace. She carries herself with a confidence that suggests she has mastered the art of balance in life, always appearing polished and composed. Her presence is magnetic, drawing others in, while leaving a hint of mystery about her story. It's as if she walks through life with a purposeful stride, leaving an impression that lingers long after she has moved on. With a playful glint in her eyes, Danny's expression shifts to one of mischief, as I find myself preoccupied with other thoughts. As I sort through the fiction section, I can't help but think that if you enjoy that whole vibe of being capable and thriving, oh my god, you really have a knack for it. Danny lets out a squeal that echoes through the room, catching the attention of Mr. Erickson, our sole customer. From the depths of the military history section, I rise. I do not, I hiss. She is my doctor, and that is all. The doctor you know so well, the one who never made you feel foolish, and who is, as I would say, truly remarkable, assembled in a manner that conveys skill and achievement, Danny remarks with a sense of urgency, points off on her fingers. That sounds like a crush to me. I chuckle, shaking my head at the absurdity as I steer my cart toward the back room. I'm done with this conversation, but later in the solitude of my apartment above the vintage record shop, I discover myself lost in thought. As I flipped Vivian's card between my fingers, I traced the elegant script of her email address. It felt a bit foolish to be caught up in this moment. In a world where routine often blurs the lines of individuality, there exists a moment of connection between two souls, one just fulfilling their duty, while the other, a bundle of nerves, steps into the unknown. Each day, countless anxious hearts cross paths with those who have mastered the art of calm, yet in that fleeting encounter, something deeper stirs beneath the surface. Weeks later, I find myself once again in Dr. Costa's office, returning for a follow-up regarding some routine blood work. As I sit in the waiting room, I can't help but reflect on the journey that brought me here. From the hallway, raised voices echoed, cutting through the air. I don't care who you know. Vivian's voice rang out firm, yet controlled. You will not address my nursing staff in that manner, and if you cannot show them the respect they deserve, you are free to seek another practice. I cannot tolerate this. As the other person's words linger in the air, Vivian steps forward, her professional smile firmly in place, ready to navigate the unfolding scene. Though her eyes spark with a hint of irritation upon seeing me, there's a subtle shift in her expression that reveals a softer side. Ren, it's wonderful to see you again. Come on back. This appointment will be a bit shorter, in a conversation about vitamin levels and general health recommendations. An unexpected shift occurs when Vivian inquires about my job. She nods with genuine interest as I share tales of the small independent bookstore where I work. I love bookstores, she says, her eyes lighting up, especially the little ones with charm. They seem to be vanishing more and more these days. The collection is certainly brimming with them. In a world where personalities collide, I respond and our familiar faces form a truly unique ensemble. She whispers the words, a soft incantation, as if etching them into her mind. It's on Lambert Street, isn't it? I nod, taken aback by the familiarity of it all. She's aware of it. I'll need to swing by sometime. I'm constantly on the hunt for a great read. Suggestions I thought were merely friendly chatter until a week later when the chime above the entrance rings out. On a rainy Tuesday evening, I glance up from the register and spot Vivian Costa standing in my bookstore, droplets of rain clinging to her dark hair like tiny diamonds. She dons jeans and a soft-looking sweater, a departure from her usual attire. In a moment that catches me off guard, I find myself almost losing grip on the credit card I'm returning, as the sight before me is nothing short of astonishing. She meanders through the aisles, her fingers gliding over the spines of the books as I complete the transaction. As the last customer departs, she steps forward, her eyes sparkling with the unmistakable sign of a genuine book lover. She approached the counter, a small, almost shy smile gracing her lips. "I hope it's okay that I stopped by," she said softly. As I wandered through the familiar streets, a thought crossed my mind. How could I forget that you were here? The moment I spotted you, a rush of excitement surged within me, and my heart began to race uncontrollably. As I searched for something particular, her gaze locked onto mine with an intensity that felt electric. "I searched for your workplace, hoping to discover a great book. Yet there was another reason too. I thought it would be lovely to see a familiar face." The admission lingers in the air, heavy with an unspoken tension that eludes my grasp. "Would you like to read?" I inquire, my voice faltering as I descend into uncertainty. Returning to a place we know well, we find ourselves immersed in conversation for the next hour, sharing our passion for books. Vivian's heart lies with literary fiction and memoirs, weaving stories that resonate deeply, holds a hidden fondness for tales of the past, shrouded in enigma, and admits she's yet to delve into the works of a certain renowned author due to her apprehensions. They may not meet the expectations set before them. I suggest beginning with persuasion as I retrieve my personal copy from the shelf. This one is truly mine, and you can borrow it. I find myself surprised by my own boldness. I would love to hear your thoughts on it. Vivian reaches for the book, her fingers grazing against mine in a manner that feels intentional. I find myself wishing for that connection as well. Perhaps we could chat over coffee once I finish. The question lingers in the air between us, changing the atmosphere of the cramped space. In a quaint little bookstore, the air was thick with the scent of adventure and possibility. Outside, with a warm cup of coffee in hand, Vivian and I shared stories that danced like the leaves in the breeze, each sip igniting our imaginations further. In the realm of medical appointments and the whispers of book recommendations, I find myself echoing thoughts that resonate within, as if a voice within me is guiding my choices. Questions what someone of Dr. Vivian Costa's stature could possibly seek from someone like myself. 3 times I found myself canceling our coffee date. The first time I spun a tale about inventory at the bookstore, which wasn't entirely untrue. For the second time, I find myself believing that I might be falling ill. By the third time, I can't even muster a decent reason. I just message her just 20 minutes before our planned meeting, spinning a tale of a vague emergency. Each time, Vivian replies with a sense of compassion that only deepens my sorrow. It is Danny who steps in at last, finding me lost in my search for Vivian. It's been a dozen times now, and yet here you are searching for her online. But remember, lurking in the shadows of the internet isn't quite the same as truly understanding who she is. Glances over my shoulder, captivated by an article detailing Vivian's remarkable journey in founding a women's health clinic in a neighborhood often overlooked, I find myself not as an intruder, but as a seeker of truth. My presence here is not one of obsession, but of inquiry. What have I uncovered in my quest for knowledge unveiled in addition to her brilliance and success? The recent chapter of her life, marked by a divorce from a corporate lawyer. He reduced the size of the browser window, revealing a society page photo of Vivian, alongside a tall, striking woman at a charity gala. Last year, the caption revealed her former spouse as Alexander Ree Hamilton. As a partner at a prestigious law firm, I can't help but point out the issue at hand. Just take a look at her ex. As she reflects on her life, a question lingers in the air. What could she possibly desire from me? Danny's expression begins to soften, revealing a glimpse of understanding. Perhaps she seeks something genuine. Have you thought about the fact that not everyone desires a mirror image of themselves? My phone. In the air, a gentle hum resonates as Vian receives a message light and casual, yet filled with warmth. The invitation remains open, a friendly gesture for coffee, tea, or perhaps something more delightful. Just a stroll if that suits you. I would love to catch another glimpse of Ren. Danny peeks at the words from behind me and lifts an eyebrow, intrigued. Once upon a moment, I inhaled deeply, preparing to respond. knowing that this time might just be the one that changes everything. Remind me about coffee tomorrow at 2. Apologies for the cancellations. Her reply arrives. With eager anticipation, I find myself ready for what's to come. And there's no need for apologies this time. I truly am. As I step into the coffee shop, I find myself in a cozy artisanal haven I've yet to explore. The exposed brick walls tell stories of the past, while the local artwork adds a vibrant touch to the atmosphere. Arriving 15 minutes ahead of time, my heart raced with anxiety, only to discover that Vivian was already waiting there. In a cozy corner booth, I find myself lost in the pages of my copy of Persuasion. As I look up, our eyes meet, and she smiles warmly at me, prompting me to close the book and step closer. With a bookmark in hand, I navigate the pages carefully. I'm enjoying it more than I expected, she says as I slip into the moment. Seated across from her, I found Anne Elliot to be far more relatable than I had expected. It feels like a moment of redemption, a true second chance, I must say. Without a second thought, the essence of the tale reveals itself. A spark dances in Vivian's eyes, and I find that perspective quite intriguing. As we sip our coffee, the hours slip away, and our conversation dances from the pages of beloved books to the warmth of childhood memories weaving in tales of our favorite places along the way. As we journeyed on, a rumble from my stomach broke the silence. Vivian glanced at her watch, her eyes widening in surprise. "I've kept you too long," she remarked, a hint of concern in her voice. "You must be starving," I say, trying to reassure her. Though my stomach growls in agreement, I promise her that it's all right. This moment has been quite the journey. "How about dinner?" she proposes with a smile. "There's a charming spot nearby that I believe you'll really like." In a place where elegance reigns, the atmosphere is transformed by soft lighting and pristine white tablecloths. As I step inside, the maitre d' welcomes me with a warm smile, setting the tone for an unforgettable evening. Vivian, with her graceful demeanor, guides us to a secluded table nestled in the corner. I can't shake the feeling of being underdressed in my plain blouse and jeans. Yet Vivian's presence somehow eases my self-consciousness. She appears oblivious to the fact that she possesses the finest mushroom rotto in the entire city. She closes her menu with a sense of finality, though the seafood option lingers as a strong contender in her mind. With a quick look at the prices, a small smile forms on Vivian's lips as she notices. "Please let me treat you," she says gently, her invitation hanging in the air. After everything you truly embody, the admiration that surrounds you, and our dialogue shifts in a remarkable way. With a thoughtful gaze, Vivian gently twists the stem of her wine glass, her expression deep in contemplation. 3 months have passed since the divorce was finalized. She reveals, responding to a question I hadn't voiced, but had been pondering. We shared a journey together. For 6 years we've shared a journey, and in our 2 years of marriage, I've come to admire Alexandra's brilliance and determination. Yet there's something more beneath the surface. Ultimately, her career always took precedence. When I opened the clinic, she referred to it as my little charity project, which it truly was. As the curtain rises on a new chapter, I find myself whispering an apology, my heart heavy with sincerity. Vivian merely shrugs, a gesture that speaks volumes in the silence that follows. We wanted different things, didn't we? What about you? Is there anyone significant in your life? In the quiet moments of reflection, I find myself fixated on my plate, gently nudging a mushroom with my fork, lost in thought as the world around me fades away. In college, I found myself caught up in something that I believed had potential, only to realize that my feelings ran deeper than I had anticipated. Since that moment, she had largely withdrawn into her own world. "Why is that?" Vian inquired, curiosity dancing in her eyes. With a gaze that is both gentle and direct, I confess that vulnerability is not my strong suit. I find solace in the pages of books. They find themselves in a dilemma, unable to choose to let you go, yet also unable to offer you the comfort of companionship. Vivian expresses this sentiment, extending her hand across the divide, the table where my fingers dance gently, whispering how much they cherish your presence. As we step out of the restaurant we seek. As the first drops of rain began to fall, Vivian swiftly reached into her bag, retrieving a compact umbrella. With a flick of her wrist, she opened it, ready to face the sudden downpour. She beckoned me near as we walked closely, her arm draped around my shoulder, sheltering us beneath the tiny canopy. It feels like a moment carved out just for us, more personal than anything we've experienced together beyond these 4 walls. We take a breath, the rain tapping a gentle rhythm on the umbrella overhead. In our own little realm of melodies, I found joy, and Vivian's expression mirrored that delight. In the intimate confines of our shared space, I find myself wondering if it would be acceptable to lean in and kiss you. The question hangs in the air, both straightforward and tender, inviting a moment of connection. My breath catches as I nod, unable to trust my voice. Her kiss is gentle, filled with hesitation. At first, uncertainty lingered, but as I found my voice, a newfound confidence blossomed. Her free hand gently cradled my face, her thumb softly caressing my cheek. And in that moment when we finally parted, everything felt different. As I sit here alone, a wave of dizziness washes over me, and I know it's not the wine from dinner. "Good night, Ren," she whispers softly. "Good night, Vivian," I reply, feeling the weight of the moment linger in the air. As she strides away, the umbrella dancing above her in the rain-soaked streets, a forgotten spark begins to awaken within me. Within me unfolds a sequence of moments that seem to draw me deeper into a realm I have yet to discover. In a world where dreams intertwine with reality, Vivian leads me to a cozy poetry reading nestled within the walls of a local college, where words dance and emotions flow freely, inviting us to lose ourselves in the beauty of expression. In the dim light of the room, we find ourselves nestled in the back row, her hand enveloping mine. With each gentle stroke of her thumb tracing soft circles on my palm, a warmth spreads through me, making it difficult to focus on anything else. In the cozy confines of my small apartment, I prepare for an evening that feels both thrilling and daunting. As I set the table, my heart races at the thought of her presence, the poet, whose words have danced through my mind. I glance at my mismatched plates, a reflection of my own uncertainties, yet I hope they will add a touch of charm to our gathering. She arrives with secondhand furniture, a bottle of wine, and a bouquet of flowers, her eyes sparkling with delight as she takes in my tiny balcony garden. Despite my struggles to keep it alive, her charm makes everything feel vibrant and full of life. She confesses her fingers dancing through the leaves of my thriving basil, while my office is adorned with fake succulents. Since I couldn't nurture the genuine ones, I'll offer you a cutting, I promise, along with thorough care instructions. Her smile is every moment of anxiety I experienced about having her in my space on a sunny day was truly valuable. On a Saturday, she leads me through the enchanting botanical gardens, where we meander amidst vibrant exotic blooms. As we stroll, she shares stories from her childhood, painting vivid pictures of her past. Once upon a time, she dreamed of becoming a botanist, her heart entwined with the beauty of plants until the allure of medicine drew her in. One day, I decided to share with her my favorite hidden spot in the city, a place where nature and urban life dance together in harmony. In a quaint little courtyard garden nestled behind an ancient church, we find ourselves seated on a weathered stone bench. The entrance, marked by an easily overlooked iron gate, leads us into this serene oasis. Enveloped in a cascade of ivy, we whispered our secrets like schoolgirls, and I found myself yearning for a tattoo. She confesses a little secret, something that holds great significance, yet it always felt a bit too casual for the setting. What would you make of it? Intrigued by this fleeting view of the rebel hidden beneath the refined exterior of the doctor, she whispers to herself, as a reminder to, I carve my own journey, choosing to tread my own path, rather than conforming to the expectations set by others, especially when it comes to something unique. In the heart of downtown, an art gallery buzzes with excitement as it prepares to unveil a new collection. The air is thick with anticipation, and whispers of controversy swirl around the featured photographer. Vivian, a friend with an eye for the extraordinary, turns to me with a spark of enthusiasm and asks if I would accompany her to the opening. Without hesitation, I nod in agreement, ready to dive into the unfolding story of art and debate. Even with my doubts about belonging, the gallery exudes a sleek and modern vibe, brimming with stunning individuals adorned in luxury. In a room filled with laughter and clinking glasses, I stand awkwardly clutching my champagne flute. Dressed in what I thought was my finest attire, I now feel the weight of my own discomfort, realizing it falls short of the elegance surrounding me. Enough Vivian, stunning in a tailored black suit, seems to sense my discomfort. She holds me near her, hand resting gently at the small of my back, guiding me through the crowd, introducing me to familiar faces, yet never letting me navigate this world alone. As we gaze upon a particularly abstract photograph, she leans in, her voice barely above a whisper, sharing her thoughts with me. As I sit here, my ear catches something unfamiliar, leaving me puzzled. Yet I nod thoughtfully, trying to project an air of sophistication as if I truly understand the essence of it all. A surprising and candid remark that catches me off guard, bringing a smile and lightening the mood. As the evening unfolded, I found myself holding onto a feeling that lingered in the air. Our eyes would meet in fleeting moments, sharing unspoken words whenever someone sparked a particularly amusing moment. In the stillness of her car that night, she found herself reflecting on the art, her thoughts swirling with a certain air of sophistication. She kisses me deeply, her gratitude evident in her eyes. "Thank you for coming tonight," she whispers. "These events are always so much better with someone who understands." That night, after she drops me off, I can't help but feel a weight on my mind. I find myself reaching for a notebook I haven't touched in ages. After years of silence, words flow from my heart, not fully formed into poetry, but the seeds of something beautiful are beginning to take shape. In the soft light of dawn, I awaken to a message from Vivian inviting me to a dinner that promises to be both delicate and exhilarating. There's a gathering at her place next weekend, and though a wave of anxiety crashes over me, I find myself saying yes. Vivian's house unfolds like a scene from a storybook, a beautifully restored Victorian with soaring ceilings that invite the imagination to wander, and contemporary decor that seamlessly blends with the timeless architecture. The dinner guests are a formidable duo, a skilled neurosurgeon and his esteemed wife, a university professor, stood together exuding an air of intellect and authority. A tech startup founder and a fashionable couple, who I believe have been friends with Vivian since their days in medical school, catch my eye. I smile and nod in acknowledgement. As discussions unfolded about getaway retreats and financial ventures, the atmosphere began to shift, taking on a certain essence of an As Vivian gracefully steps away to tend to the dessert, I seize the moment to quietly slip away in search of it in the bathroom. I take a moment to gather my thoughts. As I stand there, I catch snippets of conversation drifting in from the hallway. From the kitchen, a woman's voice I recognize as Rachel. One of the medical students says, "She seems sweet. Friends, but honestly, Viv a bookstore clerk." This feels like a rebound. I freeze. My hand rests on the bathroom doorknob, a moment suspended in time. Vivian's voice cuts through the air, sharp and clear, while Ren's presence brings a gentle warmth, a contrast to the tension that hangs around us. She possesses a genuine brilliance in literature that transforms my perspective of the world. She is not merely a fleeting moment in my life. Everything she's doing is opening my eyes to how much I was just accepting before. I'm just saying Rachel keeps surprising me. After Alex, Vivian interrupts, and in that moment I come to a realization I've been striving to fit in. In a world where definitions of achievement often clash, Ren brings a spark of joy into my life. She pushes me to reach beyond my limits, inspiring me to become the best version of myself. Genuine and true to myself, I seek your joy for my journey. As my friend, I hope you can celebrate with me, or at the very least, hold your worries close and let me shine. I stealthily pull back, hoping to avoid being discovered as I listen in when Vivian makes her entrance. In the dining room, a chocolate dessert sits enticingly before her. As her eyes meet mine from across the table, the smile she offers feels like a secret shared just between us. As the last of the guests departed and the kitchen settled into a quiet rhythm, we found ourselves side by side washing dishes. In that simple moment, a new certainty began to blossom within me. As something stirs within, she casually asks, "Would you like to stay tonight?" Her eyes held the burden of the question as the moonlight danced through the delicate curtains in her bedroom, casting a soft glow around us. As they peeled away the layers, the air thick with anticipation. Her form was a blend of the known and the mysterious, inviting exploration. Her skin feels like silk beneath my fingertips, a gentle presence that envelops me. With every glance and softly spoken word, she invites me to explore patiently, guiding me through each new moment we share. She whispers softly, her hand gliding down my stomach. I breathe in deeply, arching my body in response. In her embrace, I find myself exposed, yet cocooned, a paradox that wraps around me like a warm blanket, leaving me both defenseless and secure. In a moment, I never imagined Vivian's fingers dance softly across my bare shoulder, her breath becoming a gentle whisper as she drifts closer to sleep. As she whispers, her voice heavy, with the weight of dreams drawing near, I feel the warmth of her confession wrap around me. I think I'm falling in love with you, and I cradle those words tenderly cherishing their delicate promise, like a flickering flame seeking shelter from the gusts. I ponder if I too am in need of safeguarding. I murmur in response, taken aback by the effortless way the words escape me. In the heart of the city, the annual gathering dedicated to women's health at the Wester Hotel shines as the pinnacle of Vivian's calendar. As the days turned on, the calendar she turned to me with a hopeful gaze, asking if I would join her. Despite the doubts swirling in my mind, I found myself nodding in agreement, drawn in by her enthusiasm. After 2 months of dating, I've started to embrace the role of being known as Vivian's girlfriend, but the allure of her social realm remains a dazzling facade, one that I find myself slipping into, yet it never quite settles as a second skin that I can wear with ease. As we emerge from the taxi, Vivian's hand rests warmly on my lower back, and she assures me that I'll be wonderful. Her gaze is captivating. She stood there breathtaking in a midnight blue gown that made her amber eyes glow like stars in the night sky. I, on the other hand, wore a borrowed dress from Danny, simple yet elegant. Clad in a deep black adorned with delicate beading, she insists it highlights the golden flecks in my brown eyes. In this moment, I can't shake the feeling of being an understudy, waiting for my turn to shine. Thrust onto the stage, my heart racing as I fumbled through the lines in a grand ballroom shimmering with crystal chandeliers. As I weave through the bustling crowd, the shimmering jewelry of Seattle's elite catches my eye. Vivian, with an air of grace, leads me on this journey, introducing me to a tapestry of colleagues and generous donors. Each encounter a thread in the vibrant fabric of this evening. The same enthusiasm she radiates when she highlights her beloved artworks at the museum. I smile and extend my hand, attempting to hold on to the moment. Amidst the chatter and clinking glasses, I felt the weight of unfamiliar names and connections pressing down on me as if I were stumbling through an exam I never signed up for. It was at the bar, surrounded by laughter and conversation, that I first sensed the unease creeping in. Vivian's posture stiffened beside me as I followed her gaze to a stunning woman entering the ballroom, tall and elegant. In a pristine white pantsuit, her short platinum hair elegantly swept, she effortlessly draws the gaze of everyone around her, exuding an air of confidence that captivates without trying. As I attempt to engage with Alexandra, a wave of unease washes over me at the sound of her name. My heart sinks, knowing she carries the weight of her past, her ex-wife lingering in the shadows of our conversation. In the heart of the bustling city, whispers of influence and power lingered in the air. Alexandra, with her keen instincts, navigated the intricate web of connections. It was said that her law firm, a titan in the legal realm, had its hands in many pockets, often seen as a generous benefactor. In a matter of moments, she could unravel the threads of intrigue that bound them all together. In just 5 minutes, she navigated her way to us, her smile cutting through the air like a finely honed blade. "Vivian," she said, her voice clear and confident. With a graceful gesture, you air-kiss both cheeks, exuding a radiant charm that captivates everyone around you. "Thank you for being your enchanting self." "You look well," Vivian replies, her voice carefully measured. "Alexandra, this..." Ren Ashford, also known as Ren Alexandra, feels the weight of Hamilton Alexandra's gaze as it sweeps over her. With a sense of detached interest, one might find themselves appraising a curiosity. "It was lovely to meet you both. How did your paths cross?" Before I can gather my thoughts and respond appropriately, I need to establish a connection that allows for a seamless exchange of ideas. She opened the door to a world of literary brilliance, introducing me to the enchanting works of Jane Austen. With a discerning eye for the finest stories, her taste in literature is nothing short of exceptional. And oh, how her perfect eyebrow adds to her charm, a subtle arch that speaks volumes. With a hint of elegance, how delightful it is, I could never persuade Vivian to indulge in the world of fiction. She was always too occupied. In a world where intentions often blur, her tone dances between shadows and light, leaving one to ponder if it's a critique or a commendation. Meanwhile, the clinic's expansion presses onward, a testament to change in motion. With determination, Alexander presses on, dedicating his full attention to Vivian, as I have successfully persuaded him to do so. We have partners ready to offer their expertise in legal services for the incorporation. It's important that we discuss the details soon, as she is eager to move forward. A hand adorned with a fresh manicure rested on Vivian's arm, lingering just a heartbeat longer than necessary, as if the dinner setting held a secret between them. For the sake of nostalgia, I observe Vivian's face, intently looking for any hint of. Her expression holds a pleasantly neutral demeanor, even as a spark of interest flickers back to life. Thank you for that. With the backing of the firm, I'll have my assistant reach out to yours regarding the paperwork. However, Alexandra's smile begins to waver. With a hint of surprise at the professional rejection, she swiftly regains her composure and nods at me, conveying her enjoyment. As the evening unfolds, Vivian's character events bring a spark of enlightenment, don't they? It's as if each moment reveals a new layer of understanding. As she walks away, I exhale a breath I hadn't known I was holding. Just as I had envisioned, Vivian is every bit as intimidating. As our hands intertwine, a gentle squeeze envelops me, a touch that feels both tender and cunning, reminiscent of the intricate games played by the firm. Months ago, she dedicated herself to those legal services, yet her feelings for you linger. I suppose I'm just stating the obvious, perhaps, Vivian. She concedes, yet my heart no longer holds space for her. I find myself exactly where I wish to be while she lingers in a gentle longing, though I remain unfazed. The thought of unseen eyes observing the encounter sends a shiver down my spine. Yet there is something captivating about how Alexandra embodies the moment. In a journey where I embrace my unrefined self, I navigate this world with a strength that resonates deeply. I carry the essence of belonging, moving forward with an unwavering confidence that feels innate. Long before Vivian comes to terms with her sacrifices, these uncertainties begin to fester. When I step back into the office that following Monday, I discover the Howard, the owner of Foxed Pages, gazed out with a furrowed brow as the shadows of dwindling sales loomed over him, a steady decline that weighed heavily on his heart. For months, he shares his frustrations as the building owner has once again increased the rent. I've been holding this place together for long years. His weathered hands glide over the familiar grain of the wooden counter we both cherish, but I fear I can't endure another 6. For months, the news struck me like a sudden, harsh impact. Foxed Pages is more than just a job. It's a part of my very being. It was the very first spot in the city that wrapped around me like a warm embrace. The mere idea of losing it, of severing my bond with Howard, sent a chill through my heart. That evening, as I spoke to Vivian, my heart felt heavy, with thoughts of Danny and our loyal customers, reflecting on the bookstore's uncertain future. In the midst of preparing dinner in her cozy kitchen, my eyes begin to sting with unshed tears as I chop the vibrant vegetables, lost in thoughts of Howard. After years of commitment to nurturing the spirit of independent bookselling, she sighed, her wine glass gently placed on the table. "I'm so sorry, Ren," she murmured. In a world where fragility meets despair, a glimmer of hope emerges. Could there be a way to mend the shattered pieces? What could that solution be? Struggles to find a way to stand against the giants of online shopping and massive retail chains as the weight of the current rent presses down on her. Vivian pauses, contemplating her next move. With careful words, I could offer support in a financial sense, perhaps as an investment. As I contemplated the future of the store, the idea of expanding into a coffee shop concept danced in my mind, promising a new stream of revenue. I set the knife down, letting the thought linger in the air, filled with potential and possibility. In an unexpected moment, a chill swept through, contrasting sharply with the warmth of the kitchen. You find yourself contemplating an investment in Foxed Pages, convinced that it could make a difference. You understand the path forward. It's incredible how much the store holds for you. We've only been together for 3 months, and yet you're already stepping in to save my struggling workplace. Your words carry so much weight. My words cut deeper than I meant them to. Vivian's eyes widen in surprise at my unexpected response. I hadn't planned for this moment. Viewing it as a lifeline, a way to uplift something meaningful to someone dear to me through my financial support. "I need you to clarify, because that's something you possess." "And I do not," Ren says gently. "Possessing financial resources doesn't elevate my worth above yours. It's merely a practical distinction, and much like my understanding of medicine or other skills. Your literary expertise is commendable, yet it feels different. Money, after all, molds the very fabric of our world. In ways that transcend mere understanding." Alexandra's voice resonates within me. Vivian's charity events, could that be what I seek? I find myself yet another of Vivian's charity cases. The question lingering in the air between us, unvoiced and heavy. Yet despite everything, I find myself reflecting on my response from that evening. A change has taken place, and I start to observe all the in moments where our paths diverge. She effortlessly brings up her travels to conferences, while I find myself weighing the costs of attending even one. With new shoes on her feet and the electric bill looming for next month, she glides through social events exuding a confidence that seems to be second nature. Meanwhile, I find myself still grappling with my own feelings. As the evening unfolds, the atmosphere thickens with anticipation. The dinner table is set, and there she is. Vivian's mother, Eleanor Costa, a woman of undeniable strength and presence. Once a judge, her formidable nature looms over the gathering, casting a shadow that both intimidates and intrigues. With an air of elegance and grace, she greets me warmly as I step into her stunning waterfront condominium. She observes me intently, her gaze sharp and discerning. Throughout the dinner, she probes into my past, my education, and the dreams that drive me forward. It felt like I was under a spotlight facing a barrage of questions when I brought up the impending closure of the bookstore. Her expression transforms, revealing a hint of realization, as if she has uncovered a hidden truth. "What are your plans after that?" she inquires, her tone sharp and direct. With a deft touch, she navigated through the intricacies, her mind a whirlwind of possibilities as she pondered her next move, still uncertain of the path ahead. Searching for a different bookstore, or maybe finding a way to utilize my English degree in the world of publishing, which can be quite a daunting journey. In a world where ambition meets fierce rivalry, she observes the landscape filled with challenges, particularly for those just starting out. Her mother, Vivian, offers a gentle caution, her voice barely above a whisper. Eleanor sets down her fork, a moment of reflection washing over her. Vivian has toiled tirelessly, pouring her heart and soul into the journey of building her career, each step a testament to her unwavering dedication. Surely you can appreciate my worries about her getting entangled with someone whose journey appears so uncertain. In a moment of doubt, I held on to my composure, my voice unwavering, even as the sting of embarrassment seared within me. I possessed the strength to endure. The same worries occupied my mind later. After a fraught journey back to my apartment, she finds herself saying sorry over and over for her mother's actions. Though her mother means well and is fiercely protective, there seems to be a gap in understanding. It's not her place to judge yet. There's a truth in her words. "Isn't there?" I finally speak up, breaking the silence that hung in the air. A doubt has been blossoming ever since I crossed paths with Alexandra. "We hail from entirely different realms, Vivian. Just take a look at your surroundings." In the midst of life, she gazes at me, her insistence palpable as she takes my hands. I find myself drawn into a moment where I can see there's a woman in my life full of kindness and passion who brings me more joy than I've felt in years. Yet I find myself questioning why that alone doesn't seem to suffice. But deep down, the seed has been planted. In the rich earth of my doubts, something takes root and flourishes swiftly. I start to crafting reasons to steer clear of gatherings with Vivian's friends. I find myself retreating to my own apartment more frequently, insisting I have my own needs to attend to. In a quiet corner of my mind, I carve out a sanctuary to ponder the paths that lie ahead. Yet deep down, I sense I'm shielding myself from that unavoidable moment when Vivian comes to understand the truth. Her mother is correct. I will never belong in her world, especially when Howard reveals that the pages are indeed foxed. As the month draws to a close, the final connection to my past begins to fade, just as Vivian slips further away. She extends her hand once more, offering her support in this moment of uncertainty. As the sun began to set, she leaned closer, a spark of excitement dancing in her eyes. "What if we opened a new bookstore together?" she proposed, her voice filled with enthusiasm. It felt like the universe was aligning, a perfect fusion of our dreams and passions waiting to unfold. Radiant with excitement, filled with books and a cozy wellness nook, perhaps even a gathering spot for the community. The workshops on health education are truly remarkable, showcasing a level of thoughtfulness that perfectly aligns with what is needed. It feels like a weight I can't bear. I refuse to be her endeavor or her act of kindness. I don't want my existence to be tied to her fortune. All I dread is witnessing her slowly come to the conclusion that I fall short, lacking in sophistication, ambition, and the essence she seeks. Just ordinary, not captivating enough to hold her attention for long. So when she strolls into the bookstore one evening and discovers me there, in the quiet stillness after the doors have been locked, I turn to her, my heart racing. "We need to talk." I say the words flowing from my lips, as if they had been practiced countless times before. This isn't working, I say, feeling the weight of the moment. Focus on shelving the books instead of getting lost in her gaze. We're just too different. Vivian, you deserve a companion who seamlessly blends into your life, someone who can traverse your world with authenticity, never feeling like an imposter. That's not just a wish, it's what you truly deserve. Look at me, she says, her voice trembling with emotion as our eyes finally connect. Her gaze, filled with pain, nearly shatters my determination. Is this connected to my mother about Alexandra? For neither of them holds the same significance in my life as you do. It's all about what truly matters. I'm certain that eventually you'll grow weary of having to describe me to your friends or dealing with my insecurities swirl within her, and the weight of feeling inadequate begins to wear her down. It feels unjust, she thinks, as a flicker of anger starts to rise. With a pained look in her eyes, she declared, "You don't have the right to dictate my feelings or my desires. I've been truthful with you from the very start." In a moment of clarity, I find myself reflecting on our journey together. The path ahead feels uncertain, and I can't envision a lasting future for us. Perhaps it's wiser to part ways now before we drift further apart. In the depths of her thoughts, a bitter laugh slips from her lips, echoing the realization that it's far too late for redemption, at least for her. With a graceful motion, she delves into her bag and retrieves a book, a first edition of Virginia Woolf's To the Lighthouse, the very one I had admired. In a quaint bookshop, a window caught my eye weeks ago. I had intended to save this treasure for your birthday, but perhaps it has transformed into a farewell gift now. She gently places it on the table. The counter between us stands as a bridge I'm hesitant to cross. You can read this or choose not to, but understand that my love for you, Ren, is unwavering. It matters not what paths you tread, or the origins that shaped you, but rather the essence of your being. Alas, that alone proved insufficient. She does not linger for my... She turned to leave, her shoulders held high, even though the heavy burden of her pain was evident only after the bell above the door chimed softly. The door whispers her farewell as I stretch out my hand for the book, my fingers quaking with anticipation. As I lift the cover, I find her meticulous handwriting waiting within. In the delicate strokes of handwriting, the flyleaf comes alive, a tribute to Ren, who illuminated the path back to my essence when the memory of love had nearly slipped away. Discovering that special someone who seamlessly blends into the world you've created is all about crafting a new journey side by side. Page 1. Cherish you for everything you are, and for the person I've grown to be because of you. Always the words become a haze as tears well up in my eyes. With a heavy heart, I convince myself that my actions were just. Love, though powerful, doesn't always suffice. At times, the most compassionate decision is to release. Venture forth before the looming letdown, as the last week of weathered pages drifts away in a haze of cardboard boxes. As the sun dipped below the horizon, Howard gathered his cherished regulars for an intimate farewell gathering. Laughter and nostalgia filled the air as they reminisced about the countless discoveries and moments that had woven their lives together in this beloved space. As I stand before the shelves, a smile crosses my face, and I nod, attempting to push aside thoughts of Vivian, who has been silent since our last encounter. As the last customer departs, Howard turns the key in the lock, sealing the door for the final time. A hush envelops the space, filling the once bustling room with an eerie stillness. The bookstore buzzes with a cacophony of sounds as Danny wraps her arms around me, a firm embrace filled with unspoken promises of connection that will endure. Though she had already embraced a new opportunity at a store across town that night in my apartment, she found herself enveloped by a sea of boxes. Amidst the salvaged books, I sensed the heavy burden of my solitude. This was my desire, wasn't it? To shield myself from the anguish of anticipated rejection lingers. Yet the first blow has inflicted deeper wounds than any rejection ever could. Restless and wide awake, I reach for the notebook that holds the memories of that magical moment when Vivian and I shared our first kiss in the rain. Pages are adorned with incomplete sketches and scattered musings. As I sift through them now, a pattern emerges that I had previously overlooked. In a world where every tale unfolds, a familiar dance emerges: fear intertwines with courage, safety clashes with the unknown. Embrace the thrill and awe of allowing another soul to truly witness you in a single verse. In my quest for recognition, I found myself grappling with the essence of vulnerability. To embrace it is to invite the possibility of pain. Yet I ponder the true price of the armor we wear to shield ourselves from such hurt. Love is kept at bay just like the harm that lurks outside. The question lingers in the stillness of my apartment, echoing in the silence, waiting for an answer that fills me with fear. My phone buzzes with an incoming call from Danny, but I let it slip into voicemail. This marks the third time she's tried to reach me. Today, someone attempted to connect with me. I realize I ought to respond, but delving into the details of my breakup with Vivian demands a depth of emotion that feels overwhelming. To be honest, I find myself unready for the moment when my buzzer goes off. 20 minutes later, it hits me. Danny refuses to let my silence linger through the intercom. Her voice, though small, carries a fierce determination. I sit here with coffee and pastries waiting. From Amelia, open the door, or I might just burst into song right here in your lobby, and trust me, your neighbors won't appreciate my musical talents. I buzz her up. With the weight of past experiences lingering in the air, Danny glides in, coffee in hand, her brow furrowed with concern. Behind a facade of cheerfulness, she notices the weariness etched on your face, as if sleep has eluded you for days. She sets down her belongings, her gaze lingering on you. The bakery bag a delightful sight, and as always I respond with a smile, accepting the coffee. I'm perfectly fine, just enjoying the moment. Exhausted from the endless task of packing, yet feeling an ache in your heart from parting ways with the one you love, and for reasons that seem to vanish into thin air. Danny raises an eyebrow, a challenge glimmering in her gaze. I sink onto my couch, her words echoing in my mind. They truly honor your space, unlike me, as Danny settles in beside me. Howard brought up that you called it quits, and I couldn't help but wonder if it had anything to do with your sudden vanishing act from. In the midst of a bustling social life, I couldn't help but notice the emptiness reflected in your gaze. There were undeniable reasons for my insistence, as I found myself lost in thought, staring into my coffee, realizing how different we truly were. In her universe and the tapestry of her existence, I found myself feeling like an outsider. So in a twist of fate, you chose to wander through the void belonging to no place at all. Danny's voice takes on a gentle tone as she gazes at Ren. We've shared 3 years together, and in all that time, I've never seen you quite like this. Joyful as you felt with Vivian, the woman gazes at you as if you're a precious first edition she has just unearthed. The issue arises as I struggle to voice my thoughts, feeling the weight of inadequacy. I'm not extraordinary, I'm simply... In time she will come to understand, oh dear. Danny let out a sigh, turning to face me. In a moment of reflection, it becomes clear that the struggle lies not with Vivian, but within oneself. The choice has been made to believe in inadequacy, leading to a disconnection from one's own worth. As she speaks, the weight of her words crashes into me, a palpable force that I can't ignore. I've been so absorbed in my own thoughts. In my quest to shield myself from the sting of future rejection, I have unwittingly transformed into my harshest critic, a relentless voice echoing in my mind. What if she sees the truth in my words, I whisper? What if she remains unaware, Danny? What if in your hesitation you cast aside something genuine? Isn't that a greater fear than the risk of stepping into the unknown? She pondered this deeply. She rummages through her bag and retrieves a flyer. It announces an open mic poetry night at Caffeine and Verse this Thursday. As I gaze at the paper, a question lingers in my mind. What connection does this hold to the words you've been crafting once more? As I wandered through the store, my eyes landed on your notebook. Dan shrugged, suggesting that perhaps by sharing your words you might discover your voice in unexpected ways. Though I wish to brush it aside, there's a part of me that rises to the challenge. I'll ponder it further. Well done, Danny. As I prepare to take my leave, I just wanted to give you a heads up that I might bring it up to Vivian and Danny. Though I voice my concerns, she strides toward the door, unwavering. Sometimes a little nudge is all it takes, she remarks. But no matter what, I'll be there. As the clock strikes 7 on Thursday, I hold on to the hope that both of you will join me. For the next 2 days, I will delve into the depths of what lies ahead. As I delve into the world of my poems, I find myself meticulously editing and arranging each piece, crafting them into something that might one day see the light of day. The journey is filled with trepidation, yet there's an undeniable thrill in the transformation. It feels like a breath of fresh air, akin to breaking free from a burden. As Thursday evening unfolds, I find myself drawn to the warmth of caffeine. With a folder of poems in hand, I scan the crowd, searching for any glimpse of Vivian. Suddenly, Danny catches sight of me and waves enthusiastically. With a hopeful glance from a table close to the intimate stage, I whisper, "She's not here," as I slide away. She settles into the chair beside her. Danny interjects, "The night is still young, but..." One by one, artists step into the spotlight, pouring their hearts out through heartfelt love poems and fiery political rants. As the host calls my name, a wave of anxiety washes over me. My legs feel heavy, almost as if they're made of lead, as I slowly approach the microphone, searching for Vivian in the crowd. In the glaring light, I reveal my first poem, titled Armor, as my voice trembles with emotion. As I delve into the pages filled with my thoughts from those early days with Vivian, I am reminded of the mix of fear and awe that comes with allowing someone to truly see me. As I move beyond my barriers, the second stance of my voice finds its balance, and by the conclusion, the audience fades from my thoughts. It's all a reflection of my reality. I delved into a second poem, then a third, each one mapping the path from solitude to the connection and back again. As I complete the journey, the applause echoes, yet feels distant, secondary to the realization that begins to bloom. Deep within, I've been concealing my joy, afraid of the pain it might bring, only to end up causing the very hurt I sought to avoid. As I made my way back to our table, Danny wrapped her arms around me, offering a comforting embrace that momentarily eased the ache I had been trying to escape. She calls it beautiful and I call it brave, but she didn't show up. The disappointment looms like a shark. Even with all my efforts to get ready for it, I find myself apologizing. I truly believed she would, Danny. As I feel the gentle pressure of their hand, a wave of emotions washes over me. Perhaps the memories are still too vivid, too raw. I take a deep breath, summoning my strength, knowing that I must find the resolve within me. The following morning, I make my way to Vivian's clinic, hoping to find her and finally get a proper explanation. With the Virginia Woolf book she gifted me in hand, the receptionist, a different face from my patient days, informs me about Dr. Costa. As I inquired about her return, I couldn't help but wonder when she would grace us with her presence again, taking a moment for herself. Hold on to the urgency in my tone. I'm uncertain if anyone is responding yet. There's something lingering. She may be on the verge of embarking on a new journey, potentially taking a position at Mass General in Boston, a city rich with opportunity and promise. In the vast expanse of the country, a tree stands tall, its presence echoing both meaning and reality. Vivian embarks on a journey, leaving behind the past to construct a new life that feels both hopeful and uncertain. On a sudden impulse, I find myself driving to her house, uncertain of what awaits me if she's home, yet compelled to take a chance on the moment. I find myself on the porch where the potted herbs she usually tends to are absent, leaving the space feeling strangely empty as I sit here. For several minutes, I sat in my car, summoning the courage to approach the door. Clutching the book and a manila envelope, I took a deep breath and prepared for what lay ahead. With copies of my poems in hand, I stand before the door, my knock echoing in the silence. After a brief pause, I decide to slip both items through the gap, hoping they find a welcoming home. Through the mail slot, a hastily written note slipped in, carrying the weight of an apology. It whispered of mistakes made, not about the act itself, but the deeper truths hidden beneath. Filled with trepidation, I pondered how to navigate this fear. I believed I was safeguarding us both, yet in truth I was merely concealing these emotions. In the realm of verses, there lies a tale of you and me, a journey of courage that teaches us to embrace love, even when fear looms large. I wonder, is it too late for us to explore this path together? And as I strolled back to my car, I felt the weight of my heart longing to share the truth with you, my dear Wren. All my love rests in this moment. There's a curious sense of lightness that envelops me. No matter what unfolds from here, I've embraced honesty with Vivian and with my own heart. It feels like the last chapter of a tale, the final day of Foxed. With a sense of bittersweet inevitability, Pages arrives as Howard has orchestrated a small farewell gathering for our most cherished companions. In a once bustling haven, the loyal patrons now find themselves in a quiet, almost eerie atmosphere. The shelves stand mostly bare, casting an unusual sound that reverberates through the space, transforming it from a warm retreat into a realm of echoes and memories. In the midst of it all, there exists a comforting glow to the gathering, a joyous tribute to the significance this place holds for countless souls. Howard. Unexpectedly called upon to share my thoughts, I stand before the small gathering, their eyes fixed on me. Familiar faces woven into the fabric of my daily existence for years seem to bridge the gap to realms beyond our own. I start to discover the essence of a bookstore transcends the mere presence of books. It's the bonds we forge in their midst that truly bring it to life, each interaction a cherished moment in the tapestry of our shared stories. Pages has been more than a job for me. It's been a sanctuary, a community, a place where I discovered the magic of narratives. It is essential as it deepens our connections and self-awareness. I persist in expressing gratitude to customers personally, remembering their names. As I share my favorite recommendations and engage in lively discussions, I catch a glimpse of movement at the back of the store, someone quietly slipping in. As I step through the door, my heart skips a beat at the sight of Vivian. She stands there, a wanderer in jeans and a cozy sweater, her hair catching the light in a way that feels almost magical. With my hair gathered in a simple ponytail, our eyes lock from across the room, and suddenly everything I had planned to say fades away. As I concluded, I took a moment to express my gratitude, saying a heartfelt thank you to everyone for being a part of this journey before gracefully stepping back. My attention zeroes in on the woman by the travel guide section, while the buzz of the gathering swirls around me as I make my As she navigated through the crowd, the air was filled with laughter and the clinking of glasses, each sip of bubbly accompanied by tales of yesteryears and cherished moments. As I arrive at Yen, we pause in silence, the atmosphere around us thick with unspoken words and emotions. I never imagined you would. Come, I finally say. I almost didn't. She admits, I just got back from Boston. Yesterday at Mass General, I felt a tightening in my stomach as I turned it over in my mind. As her gaze met mine, I felt the weight of her emotions. I received your poems and your note, and I truly meant every word I wrote. Convey to her that I felt fear, Vivian, not because of what sets us apart, but from the worry of not measuring up. In the quiet moments, I told myself it was wiser to bring closure before you could uncover the truth of your error, or perhaps mine. She murmurs this, a trace of something lingering in her voice. Frustration seeped into her voice as she spoke. Did it ever cross your mind that I might know my own heart, that I made the choice to be with you? It's all about you, just as you are, not despite it. I realize it may seem a bit crazy, but the moment I saw you in a world where Alexandra and her mother exist, I find myself pondering my place in that beautiful tapestry. It's a thought that lingers, inviting curiosity about the future and how I might belong in that story. As Vivian took a step closer, a wave of fear washed over me. I was terrified, too. Terrified that you only perceive the... In a world where titles and accolades often overshadow the essence of a person, there lies a woman who grapples with her own identity. Despite the privilege and status that surround her, she occasionally feels like a stranger in her own skin, battling the whispers of self-doubt that echo in her mind. A young woman navigates the complexities of her existence, burdened by the fear of letting down her mother, who carries the weight of her father's absence like a heavy stone in her heart. At times, I find myself blinking in astonishment, wondering how you could believe that I've always noticed you, Vivian. That's what frightens me the most. How could it be so? In that moment, I realized just how deeply I longed to prove myself to you. You are worthy, she declared with unwavering intensity. That's what I've been trying to tell you. In a world where we both navigate our fears and flaws, we find ourselves just two imperfect souls seeking understanding and connection. In a world where the best shines through the rest, becomes mere circumstance shaping our identity as we gather for the farewell party. It goes on. Yet it feels as if we are the only two in existence, so absorbed in one another. I apologize for expressing feelings of inadequacy, but in my mind, I crafted a narrative about your desires and emotions, believing I understood your needs. Yet perhaps I should have reached out to you, engaging in a conversation, rather than making choices on your behalf. Vivian reflects on how both of us should have seen your fears, rather than brushing them aside. I realize I kept insisting on our perspective. In the midst of life's complexities, the existence of differences often goes unrecognized, yet they can present their own set of challenges. I pause for a moment, inhaling deeply. Summoning my bravery once again, I ponder the path ahead. Where do we go from here? I ask, uncertainty lingering in the air. Vivian responds with sincerity. I'm not entirely sure, but I'm eager to find out. Let's navigate this journey side by side, shedding all pretense and embracing our vulnerabilities with open hearts, even in the face of uncertainty. It's a challenge I wish for that as well. I softly murmur, and she extends her hand towards mine, fingers intertwined with mine, a gesture that feels both familiar and like the dawn of something new. Your poetry was truly beautiful. By the way, your way with words is truly a gift. I owe you my gratitude for that, I tell her. Her smile sparkles with a hint of courage, whispering that loving each other could ignite a bravery within us both. It's as if the very act of writing again is a testament to the strength we find in one another. With a mix of uncertainty and sincerity, Howard raises his glass for the final toast, and Vivian and I find ourselves side by side in the gathering. Two empty shelves stood side by side, their hands intertwined, gazing ahead into the unknown. Though uncertainty loomed, they were resolute in their promise to confront whatever lay ahead, united in their honesty and strength. The morning light gently streams through the windows, illuminating the pages of wellness. Dust motes float in golden beams, swirling and dancing in the soft glow. As I arrange the display of new releases, the sound of the door chime brings a smile to my face. Mrs. Calloway steps in, waving cheerfully. With her walking stick in hand, she greets everyone with a cheerful smile. At 78, she stands out as one of our most devoted members. Every week, she welcomes her loyal customers, eager for the latest mystery novel and a routine blood pressure check. "Good morning, my dear," she calls out with warmth. "Cosette is yet to arrive, but my grandson is visiting this weekend, and I want to ensure everything is in perfect order for his stay." She is patient, and I assure her that she'll be free in about 5 minutes. I guide her to our cozy reading nook and ask, "Can I get you some tea?" As the months have passed since we first welcomed you through our doors, the heartbeat of this place has woven itself into the very fabric of my being. In a world where time seemed to stand still, the front half of the establishment cradled a bookstore, modest in size, yet brimming with carefully chosen treasures, surpassing even the charm of foxed pages. Cozy nooks bathed in warm sunlight, the rear section elegantly divided by sliding barn doors, holds a special charm. In a quaint little clinic, Vivian had crafted a space that felt both welcoming and intimate. With 2 exam rooms nestled within a cozy office to manage her tasks, and a community area that buzzed with warmth, it was a haven for those seeking care. A space filled with energy where she gathers each week to share knowledge about health, blending her passions into a beautiful union. Became a journey filled with unexpected triumphs as individuals arrived for their checkups eager and hopeful. In a realm where the shelves are lined with stories waiting to be discovered, some wander in for the soothing verses of poetry, only to find themselves entangled in the rhythm of overdue wellness exams we've orchestrated. In a moment that felt like destiny, I found myself carrying Mrs. Calloway's tea when Vivian stepped out from the shadows of the back room, her presence illuminating the space with an unexpected brilliance. As she slips into a cozy cardigan, a warm smile spreads across her face the moment our eyes meet. That familiar smile still sends my heart racing even after all this time. "Mrs. C, you're early today," she says with warmth. Bending down to plant a kiss on the older woman's cheek, I felt a rush of excitement as I anticipated seeing my favorite duo. Mrs. Calloway responded with a playful wink, leaving me wondering when the next adventure would unfold. "That book of yours is almost here, Ren. I can't wait to get my signed copy in just 2 more weeks," I say. I couldn't hide the thrill in my voice as I awaited the publisher's delivery of the advanced copies, the reality of it all sinking in. It feels like a dream, my collection of poetry finding its way into the world through a small yet esteemed press. Margins of love holds within it. The verses I crafted in those early days with Vivian intertwined with fresh creations that capture the essence of our parting. And when the long-awaited acceptance letter finally arrived 3 months ago, Vivian couldn't contain her excitement. She carefully framed it, placing it proudly beside her medical diploma, a testament to her hard work and dedication, urging that the accomplishments deserved a grand celebration later that evening. Once we've secured everything and ascended the A's, we ascend the stairs to our apartment above the shop. Vivian suddenly pulls me into an embrace. "I forgot to mention," she whispers, "Elena Castillo called today. Her sister's publishing company is eager to stock your book in all their stores." "That's incredible," I say, resting my forehead against my hand in disbelief. Against hers, I find it hard to grasp that any of this is unfolding in our apartment. Embodies the balance we discovered in various facets of our bond, both open yet inviting, filled with the essence of In my former abode, the quality fixtures caught Vivian's eye, while my secondhand bookshelves stood proudly sharing walls with memories. Her gathered creations adorn the space, while my plants flourish on the balcony, where her expert telescope awaits the clarity of night skies. In the heart of our journey, we crafted a sanctuary that embodies our shared existence, a tangible reflection of the harmony we've discovered in intertwining our lives and dreams. Vivian whispers to me, her lips brushing against mine gently, "You've worked hard for every ounce of this success." In the quiet of the night, I discover Vivian at the kitchen table, enveloped by a sea of paperwork, her reading glasses resting delicately on her nose. She is carefully examining the applications for the clinic's sliding scale program, a vital initiative that offers care to those in need who may not have the means to afford it. Traditional medical services are made possible through a blend of funding sources, including the proceeds from the bookstore and generous grants. Vivian plays a key role in this endeavor. In a moment of quiet, I placed a steaming mug of herbal tea beside her. She gazed at it, her expression revealing a mix of gratitude and contemplation. With a weary smile, I ponder the number of new patients we can welcome this quarter. I take a seat beside her, observing as she approaches the task of weighing numbers and understanding needs with the same meticulous attention she applies to medical diagnoses, crafting solutions that are accessible to all. In a journey of self-discovery, she found a new calling in healthcare, a realm that nourished her spirit far more than her previous role ever could, even though it came with a pay cut and longer hours. Her former life now seemed like a distant memory, overshadowed by the fulfillment she had discovered. Last month, a hospital administrator reached out, attempting to entice her return with the allure of a department head position, which she ultimately turned down. Without a moment's pause, she revealed to me later that she was precisely where she was meant to be. What truly holds significance has started to shift for her mother, who once viewed our business endeavor with doubt, but is now beginning to see the potential. Slowly captivated by Vivian's evident happiness and the clinic's rising acclaim for outstanding service, a generous soul, contributed significantly to our community health education program, yet chose to remain in the shadows, preferring anonymity. As I gently covered Vivian's hand with mine, I felt the weight of our shared purpose. Together, we were creating a ripple of change, a moment that spoke volumes about our commitment. As she intertwines our fingers, the gesture resonates with a sense of familiarity, speaking volumes without uttering a single word. It's all I've ever known. Have you ever dreamed of creating something meaningful with someone you cherish? 2 weeks have flown by. In a whirlwind of excitement, we are gearing up for my book launch with the publisher, organizing a reading at a notable venue. In the heart of the city, a charming bookstore awaited, its shelves brimming with stories. Afterward, a cozy gathering unfolded at Pages and Wellness, where Danny and I worked together to set the scene, arranging chairs with care. In our vibrant community space, as Vivian takes care of the catering arrangements, the advanced copies are being prepared. "It was meant to be here today," I say to Danny, glancing at my watch for the third time in an hour. The courier had assured me it would arrive in the morning. As the sun began to set, Danny leaned back, feeling a wave of calm wash over her. "No worries," she said with a smile. "They'll arrive soon. And if not, we'll just find a way to make it work." As you flip through the pages of your notebook, the memories of that open mic night flooded back. It went so well last time, and a smile crept onto your face as you recalled the moments shared. That night, filled with raw emotions and open hearts, became the turning point for reconciliation with Vivian. A moment that felt undeniably true. As the long-awaited package finally arrives, Vivian urges me to unveil its contents in the sanctuary of our apartment, shielded from prying eyes. In that fleeting instant, she takes my hand, leading me up the stairs. "This moment is yours," she whispers, as the rest of us will savor it later within the warmth of our shared home. In a quiet room, I gently lift the lid of the box, revealing 10 immaculate copies of Margins of Love, each adorned with my name elegantly embossed on the sleek cover. As I gaze upon the sight, a wave of emotion washes over me, and I find myself whispering, lifting one hand to my face, feeling the unexpected tears well up in my eyes. It's all so real. With a sense of reverence, Vivian urges, her voice tinged with an unusual tightness of emotion. "Open it." I turn to the title page, anticipating the usual publication details, only to find something unexpected carefully taped to the page. Is a "Once upon a time, there was a stunning ring that captured the essence of elegance. At its heart lay an exquisite oval sapphire, radiating deep hues of blue, embraced by a delicate halo of tiny diamonds. The antique setting whispered stories of the past, each intricate detail a testament to timeless beauty. Below it, in Vivian's handwriting, new chapters written together, "Will you marry me?" I look up to find her watching me. With a flutter of anxious excitement, this assured woman found herself unexpectedly exposed in her yearning. Yes, the word escaped her lips, catching on a breathless sob. In that moment, joy enveloped us as she gently slid the ring onto my finger, her hands quivering with emotion. In a gentle way, I felt compelled to connect this with your book, as it embodies the essence of what we have created together, beauty born from truth. In a moment of raw honesty, we found strength in our vulnerability, later revealing the ring to our friends and family who had gathered around us. As we prepare for the launch, I can't help but reflect on the journey we've taken since that initial nerve-wracking visit to the doctor's office. The journey we traveled was anything but straightforward, with each twist and turn guiding us to this moment. In just 4 months, the celebration of love will unfold within our community. In a serene garden nestled behind the pages of life, we create a sanctuary of wellness. Here we cherish intimacy, welcoming just 40 cherished guests to share in this special experience. Under the canopy of blossoming trees, Danny stands by my side, a vision in her role as my maid of honor, while Vivian's college roommate shares this moment with us, all seated on white chairs. Stands beside her in the front row. Howard beams with pride next to Eleanor Costa, who adopts a carefully composed demeanor that sometimes falters, allowing true joy to shine through rather than sticking to conventional promises. Every time we read something we've penned, it often leaves everyone pleasantly surprised by how articulate it is. Through the sharing of her own poem, which may not be flawless in its technique, yet resonates deeply with heartfelt sincerity, revealing the essence of my transformed her existence. And when my moment arrives, I reveal the carefully crafted paper, yet I pause to set it aside. In a fleeting instant, I set everything aside and found myself speaking directly to Vivian, the words cascading effortlessly from my lips. In a moment of vulnerability, I found myself approaching you, a patient filled with fear, my hands trembling and coffee spilling everywhere. Laughter began to emerge from those around me, a gentle reminder of the lightness that can be found even in the most anxious of times. Little did I know that moment would mark the start of the most significant adventure of my life with you. In a moment when I was hidden, you found me. You embraced me when I doubted my worth, showing me the beauty of love and acceptance. You revealed a truth I had yet to understand. Bravery is not about being free from fear. It's about confronting that fear and pressing on regardless. I grasped her hands in mine, feeling. In her fingers there was a strength that whispered of gentleness, a rare blend that many seek throughout their lives. Extraordinary moments danced just out of reach, waiting to be discovered. In the quiet hours, we found joy in the simple act of brewing coffee side by side, selecting the perfect books for the store, and sharing those fleeting moments that weave our story together. Your dedication to your patients is what transforms a life into something truly remarkable. I vow to confront whatever lies ahead with sincerity. With hearts intertwined, we embrace the journey of growth together, choosing unity over separation. In that moment, we remember that love, with all its uncertainties, is a treasure worth every leap of faith, especially as we celebrate at the reception. In the cozy bookstore, where the shelves were pushed aside to make room, we took to the makeshift dance floor, swaying gently to the enchanting melodies of Ella. At last, Vivian holds me close, her cheek resting against my hair, and in that moment I feel a wave of happiness wash over me. She whispers softly, her voice a melody that transcends language. I respond, and from a poet's heart those words carry weight. With a gentle laugh, she hinted, "By the way, I have a surprise for you. Check your email." Tomorrow I might have shared your manuscript with a friend at the New Yorker. You didn't? I gasped, pulling back to catch a glimpse of her expression. Did she really say they want to publish 2 pieces in next month's issue? I shake my head, lost in thought, pondering how I ended up here. Fortune smiled upon you, but it was not mere chance. With a gentle correction, she reminded you that it was your courage that shone through. You were indeed brave enough to embrace the challenge. As the twilight deepens outside the windows, a sense of vulnerability envelops you, and in that moment of writing, everything else seems to flow from it. As I keep dancing, enveloped by the presence of beloved books and cherished souls, I feel the remnants of the anxiety that once shaped my existence still linger, though it hasn't fully disappeared. There are still times when uncertainty and fear creep in. But with Vivian by my side, I've discovered that those emotions don't have to dictate my path. "What's on your mind?" she inquires, her gaze catching the thoughtful look on my face. During our first meeting, I shared my fears and how you managed to calm my nerves. It was a fortunate moment when that coffee spilled. She playfully nudges me, and in that moment, I realized just how stunningly you flush when you're feeling a bit embarrassed. But I'm glad you shared your personal email with me. It seems quite unprofessional, Dr. Costa, but I appreciate your help. It was the most questionable choice I had ever made, she said, as she twirled me softly before pulling me back into her embrace, and I knew I would find a way through it. Once more in an instant, the string lights shimmer above us, resembling stars that cast their gentle glow. In the tale of their lives, two women from distant realms embarked on a journey discovering a shared path that lay before them, filled with promise and adventure. Once upon a time, a tale unfolded, revealing its secrets, one page at a time. Each turn of the leaf brought new adventures, characters, and mysteries waiting to be discovered. The journey was not just about the destination, but the stories that emerged with every flick of the page, inviting the reader to dive deeper into the enchanting world crafted within. And so the story continued, captivating hearts and minds one page at a time.